Hi, and thank you so much for joining me in this third video of the three-part Untangling Your Money Mess video series. I'm so pleased that you made it this far. If you haven't yet had a chance to look at the other two videos, please pause this video and go back and watch them because there are some things that we did in video 1 that we're going to need now. In video 1, called Get a Clear Picture, we kind of got your money map together so that you can see everything in one place and really have a good idea of where your money's going right now. In video 2, we cut the junk, and this is where we looked at anything that you might consider junk spending. It's anything that isn't adding to your income, helping you earn income, nourishing your family, keeping a roof over your head, anything like that. And it's mainly those things that you later regret. Things you buy and then you're like, oh, why did I buy that? I didn't really need that. So that's what we did in video 2. Now this video, this is called Getting the Cash to Flow Where You Want It to Go. This is where we really set up a system for you. And you already have a financial system. Anything that has money coming in and money going out is a financial system. But it may not be organized the way you want it to, and the money may not be going where you want it to, when you want it to. So that's what we're going to do right now. With my one-on-one clients and group programs, we sometimes get to quite a few different bank accounts because we are doing things like setting aside money for quarterly estimated taxes if you're freelance or small business owner, and setting aside money for near future goals, things like that, and retirement accounts. But I feel like the very minimum number of accounts that I like to work with is at least 3. And those 3 are a savings account, a checking account, and another checking account that is a dedicated bill pay account. So that's what we're going to work on here in this, just to keep it nice and simple. There are quite a few steps here to get to the automated system that I want you to have. We will do our best to keep it nice and simple. And if you want to know more, we can talk about my Mastering Money Matters course at the end of this video. So first of all, do you have 3 accounts? Do you have 2 checking accounts and a savings? If you only have a savings account and a checking account, maybe you could pause, go log into your bank, and open up a new checking account. Now, the reason for this is because if you have a dedicated bill pay account where we put all of the payees in there, all of the bills come out, we can add up how much your bills are each month and get an idea of what needs to be there, and then create a buffer so that you know you're never going to run out of money for those exact bills. No matter what you spend out of your spending account each month, that will not affect your ability to pay your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, your utilities, all the things that really keep your family safe, comfortable, in your home, the car not repossessed, all of those things. So it also takes a lot of weight off your mind when you're not having to remember which bills due on which day and transfer money over here and transfer money over there. It takes a lot of tasks off of your plate when you have a dedicated bill pay account that is set up on automatic payments. So that's what we're going to go for right now. So the first thing to do is look at your bank account. Do you have those 3? Pick which account is going to be your dedicated bill pay account. Now, while we're doing that, I want you also to look at the money map from video 1 and go through your transactions for the last couple of months and see which ones are recurring. For most people, these are things like either their mortgage or their rent, their car payment, utilities, let's see, health insurance, car insurance, life insurance, any of those things that you pay monthly. If you don't pay them monthly but pay them quarterly or biannually, make a note of that too, and we'll split it up into monthly amounts so that when that comes up, it'll be covered. So what we want to get to is basically your monthly nut, the bare minimum money that has to be in that account in order to pay all of your bills. So go ahead and make that list and add up what that number is. Just for simplicity's sake, let's say it's $2,500. So what we're going to do is your other checking account should be the one, the spend account. Well, you can choose which one you want your income to come into. It could either come into the bill pay account first, and then you transfer out everything that isn't what you need, or it can come into your spend account first and you transfer over what you need. I tend to have mine, because I have irregular income, come into my spend account, and then I transfer over the amount each month that I know I need to cover those basics. When you turn on your automated system, you want to turn it on already with a full month's worth of bills in there as a buffer. If you already have an emergency savings account or some kind of savings account that has 1 month's worth of bills, that $2,500 say, go ahead and put it in that checking account so that we can have that buffer there and get it turned on. If you don't have that money yet, we're going to start saving it up in the savings account for a couple of months until you get there. And then you can put it in as your buffer. And that's when you'll start the automated system. So let's go on from here. Say you have the total amount that you need for your recurring bills every month. Let's put the buffer in there. And then we're going to set up 2 transfers a month out of your spend account into your bill pay account that's going to continue to replenish that amount every single month so that you know it's there. Now, I'm assuming that right now you are paying those bills, which means there is money coming in that is covering them somehow. So really, it's just splitting out those bills from your other income and your other spending. And it will really highlight how much you are spending from your spend account. And it can help you make decisions there too. You know, kind of like when we went through the junk video, which things are junk? And even if something's not junk, is it as high a priority as something else? For instance, is buying something today as high a priority as getting out of credit card debt so that you aren't paying that interest? Or maybe you're trying to pay off your house, or you're trying to save up for a down payment on a house. You can decide better when you know your bills are paid and this is what's left. Like, I have $500 right here at the end of the month that I didn't use in my spend account. Oh, I could transfer that into my savings and build up more for that down payment. It's easy to see how much is left when you have a separate account, separate from your bill pay. So now that you have some money in that bill pay account, let's go into your bank account and set up the payees. This may take a little bit of time. So I mean, you already made a list of all of the regularly recurring bills. So you should know who they are to. And most things are accessible online these days. So usually you can go online and add them in. I do it straight from my bank account. Almost all of my payees I could find in there. And I put in my mortgage. When I had car payments, we had car payments in there, credit card bills, all the utilities, cell phone, internet, all of that stuff. Anything that is possible to put in there, put it in there. And as you set it up, you can see how much each of those has been in the past, hopefully looking at your past expenditures. And what I like to do is kind of spread them out through the month if we're doing 2 transfers over of income. So most of your bills, you can go in online and you can request to change the date. So this is kind of batching your bills into 2 batches in the month. So I like to have all of my bills paid on the 5th of the month and the 25th of the month. That way it is not right on the 1st and the 15th. Oh, sorry, the 5th of the month and the 20th. That's what I do, the 20th. Because it gives a few days for that transfer to go over from the checking account into the bill pay account. And it also isn't right at the end of the month. For some reason, right at the end of the month feels more stressful to me. So after the 5th, I can see, okay, half my bills have been paid this month. So because my mortgage is one of my biggest bills, I put that in one half with a couple other little ones, and then I put everything else in the other half. This step you can do or not do. Because we're going to put them on automatic payment, it won't matter too much, but it just, again, gives you a clearer picture of where you're at every month. So let's get all the payees in. You know roughly how much it's going to be every month. For utilities, one thing I want to bring up is that some companies will offer a plan to even out the uneven payments over the course of the year. For instance, if you live in Phoenix, Arizona, summertime is really high electricity bill for your AC. If you live in the Northeast, sometimes you have a house with maybe oil heat, and it's really expensive in the winter. So if your company will let you even those payments out all throughout the year, that can make this whole thing a lot easier and less strain on the buffer that you keep in there. So once all the payees are in and you have that buffer, now you can turn on that auto pay. And what has happened now is that all of your bills are going to be paid automatically. The transfer of income goes in early in the month, so you can always see. And as long as everything works right, it will keep going. Now, how do we make sure everything works right? The next thing I want you to do is to set up go into notifications in your bank and set up notifications for low balance on that bill pay account and on your spend account too. So that you'll get an email notification if it drops below, say, $500. That will give you some time to move things around before the next payments go out and to figure it out. Another thing you can do is put a notification on high balances on your credit card. So anytime a credit card goes above $1,000 or $2,000, depending on how you use your credit cards, maybe it's $5,000 for you. It depends where that threshold is, where it means, I'm not going to be able to pay it off this month. I'm going to have to carry a balance. That's a good thing to do too. So if you get these notifications, it allows you to really monitor the system and know that you will not run out of money. It will not take you into the land of like cascading late fees and insufficient fund payments, because you'll get notified before you get anywhere close to that. And that really makes it safe. Now, so that's kind of the main box of how to get the cash to flow where you want it to go in terms of every month getting all your bills paid. You still have your spend account to spend. And now we want to make at least some little transfer into that savings account every month. So like I said, if you don't have savings right now, this may start small because we need to build your savings muscle. Even if you are paying off debt, it may seem counterintuitive to keep paying interest when you could be putting that extra $50 every month or $100 or $250 or whatever you decide to put in there towards the debt. But the truth is, when you're paying off debt, if you put every last penny towards it, the next thing that comes up, the next time your car breaks down or a tree falls on your roof or your garage door breaks, which actually just happened to me this weekend, you won't have the money in savings to pay for it, which means you'll just pile it back on the credit card. And all of that hard work that you did to clear some room on that credit card will just be undone. And you'll feel like it's one step forward, two step back. It's so discouraging. So even if you are paying off debt, start putting something into savings right now. If you already have an emergency savings, fantastic. Are you adding into it monthly? Is it the size you want it to be? Is it what you need? If you already have that covered, I like to have a curveball account is another one for those things like the tree falling on the roof or the car breaking. I usually only keep maybe between $500 and $800 in there because I do deplete it anytime the car breaks down or whatever it is. And then I put $50 a month back in. Sometimes I bump it up if I've used a lot. But I like having a curveball account too. So for bonus points, you can add a curveball account if you want, as well as your fund that's becoming your emergency fund. And if you already have all of that covered, then your retirement accounts are where you want to be transferring some money each month. So that's a good start. And like I said, in my group courses and in Mastering Money Matters, we talk about even more options for these sorts of things. Especially if you're self-employed, you need a few more accounts to take care of your business, your taxes, things like that. But this is kind of the nice, simple, streamlined version of it, is these 3 accounts. Now, if you really want some bonus points, something else I like to do is actually try to batch and schedule my non-bill pay financial tasks as well. And this means making some lists. So when I need something, I like to try to make shopping lists for several days and try to go shopping on certain days so that I know, okay, I'm spending money on these days for groceries, for office supplies, for whatever it is. If something comes up that's an emergency, I go buy it, but I try not to spend money every day. I try to have days where I don't spend any money and batch the rest of it together. Sometimes just waiting a few days makes me realize, I don't actually really need that thing that I was going to get. I can do a workaround, I can do without it, or maybe there's something better. So I kind of like to wait when I can. And I also create both a virtual and a physical mailbox for the types of financial tasks that can't be scheduled online. This is when you actually get a mail in the bill. For years, my husband and I ran a cattle ranch. I could not automate the man who came and shoed the horses. I had to actually write him a check. We had a few other things like that where there was just no way to pay online. So I would have to write a check or pay cash. So again, I try to have a place where I collect those kinds of bills, things from school, the fundraisers, whatever. And I put them together, both in my email inbox. I have a financial inbox and I have a physical one, and I pick which days that I work on those. Again, I try to do the 5th and the 20th when all the rest of my payments are happening, because then I can, again, get a really good overview. If something unexpected has come up, I can make some adjustments. So that is the simplified version of getting your cash to flow where you want it to go. Now, in the Mastering Money Matters course, which I want to tell you a little bit about now, we work on this in much greater depth. We have 6 modules. The first one's on setting your goals. I have kind of a unique way of setting financial goals that really helps you get really clear on it, target it, know exactly what it's going to cost, the next goal that you're working on, both in the near future and some far future goals, so that you can be putting money towards those each month. We also go into other ways you can really save money, such as negotiating bills, negotiating credit card interest rates. And I have scripts and lots of confidence boosters and suggestions for people who aren't used to calling those companies and asking them for better deals than you're getting right now. We also look at how to really dig into your debt, both reduce the interest rates, but also figure out exactly the fastest way to pay it off. And we look at building your financial team if you don't have one and need one, if you want one, who to talk to, how to find them, what questions to ask when you're hiring a financial professional. And then at the end, we set up the systems to reach all of the goals. So I built this course while I was doing a Mastering Money Matters membership group. And it was the material that I was presenting each month along with the feedback that I was getting. So it was a really collaborative effort with the women in that group to put it together. I really enjoyed it, and I got such a great response to it that I decided I needed another way to present it. So I'm presenting it now to you as a standalone course, and for the next 5 days, I'm doing a really big deal, a special deal on it, a very big discounted deal, as well as offering, if you do feel like you need help, if you want some hand-holding and want us to go through it together, we can do a one-on-one VIP version, which again, I drastically discounted for the next 5 days while I'm first offering this. And what that would be is just you and me on calls once a week to go through all of this stuff. I did really enjoy having a group of women doing it when I did it before, but I realized that a lot of those women wanted private calls, because while you can kind of cheer each other on and we can talk about the general and big areas of finance together, when it comes to actually digging into your personal finances, I realize a lot of people don't actually want to shout out what's going on in their finances on group calls necessarily. So I decided to do away with the group part of it for now and offer the standalone version and the VIP one-on-one. So if you know that you want to do this and you know that you want help, the VIP version's there for you. If you click on the link below, you'll get all the details about the sales page, about what's in each module. You'll hear some testimonials from people who've gone through it, and I totally love every person who went through it before. A lot of us became really good friends, and a lot of them have made so much progress in their financial lives, just as I have. Again, I'm no money guru, I'm no CFP or CPA. I'm a special needs mom and an online entrepreneur who has worked really hard over the last 7 years to figure this stuff out for myself, and then I started sharing it with other women. I first started sharing it with other autism moms through being an autism mom mentor, but then I realized a lot of my entrepreneur friends struggle with these things as well, because no one really teaches you this stuff. I mean, sure, we may learn how to balance a checkbook in high school or from our parents, but finances are so complex now. There's so much to figure out. And finding out how other people have made it work and can make it keep working, I think that's something that we need to share when we learn it. So this course is my journey along with the journey of these other women who helped me put it together, and I would love to share that with you. Please click the link below to learn more. Thank you.